Hey guys, it's morning right now. It's before 9 a.m. and I slept like hell last night because I had my setup all done. I found my little park spot, a nice secluded private little spot. I'm laying there and I'm having a nice peaceful sleep. I wake up because I hear this vehicle driving really close to me, and I see like headlights that are shining right into my windows, and I'm kind of creeped out because I have no clue who this is or what they're doing. And then I hear them get out of their car, and I hear footsteps walking over to my car, and I see a light shining in my car, and then they go away and they get in their car and they drive off. So I sit up and I look out the window and I see that it was a police car. It's driving away from me. So I'm like, okay. And then a few minutes later, I hear a car drive back, and same thing happens, only this time he gets out and comes over to the driver's side window. He shines a light on the window. I heard him try to open the door, like I could hear him using the handle. And I was a little creeped out by that. It kind of scared me. I mean, I know it's a cop, but that's still weird. And then he knocked on the window and identified himself, and I just sat up, and the window was cracked, so I was talking to him through that. And he was like, can you open your door so I can hear you better? And I'm thinking, well, I don't really want to open my door, so I just rolled it down, And he asked me what I was doing there. I told him I was just getting a little bit of rest, and he asked me if I was homeless, and I said no, because I've been told by a bazillion other, car lifers and van lifers, whatever, that you never tell them you're homeless. So I said no. And he said, well, where do you live? And, well, I moved out, so, I got a divorce and I moved out, so I'm not living with my husband anymore, But I didn't know what to say, so I thought, well, I'll just tell him I'm living with a boyfriend that's like an hour's drive away, and I have an early shift, and, I figured I would just park close to work the night before, and in that way I don't have to get up crazy early so I can come into work. I don't have that long drive. That wasn't really true. I don't have a boyfriend. It's just car life, but there's a reason why I'm laying in my car after midnight, So that was what I thought of being half dead and asleep, And he's like, oh, okay. And then he asked to see my ID, and then as I gave it to him, he was like, just so you know, it's technically illegal to sleep in your car within the township here. And I was like, okay. Just play it dumb. And he asked me where I work, and I told him. And he's like, well, I don't care if you sleep in your car. It's not like a big, huge deal. But he's like, my concern is your safety, really. You're a young woman. You're here alone. Somebody could hurt you. Somebody could break your window. Anything, a variety of things could happen to you. And he was like, well, do you do this a lot? Because I noticed you have a setup here. You got some window coverings and everything, so you're prepared for it. And I was like, well, maybe once or twice a week I'll sleep closer to work. And he just said, okay, well, you're okay for tonight. Just, another officer might come and stop you or something. And I don't know what his reaction will be, so I'm just like giving you a heads up, And I'm like, oh, okay. So after he left, I was just like, there was no way I was going to go back to sleep anytime soon, because he scared the death out of me at first. So my adrenaline's all up. And now I'm thinking, great, so I can't use this parking spot anymore. And I just kind of drove around looking for another spot to park. So yeah, that was my odyssey last night. He was being kind of chill about it. He wasn't really ragging me or anything, but part of me wants to be a smartass. Like, if I could argue with him freely without any consequence, I probably would have said something like, well, I don't know where you're asking me to move to. If I could just tell him the truth, I'd be like, obviously I don't have a house or an apartment. I'm living in the car, so I'm not really sure where you're expecting me to go. And I have an idea that he would probably say something like, that's not my concern, that's not my problem. And I would probably say something like, well, if where I sleep is not your concern, then why are you discussing it with me? But, I just kept my mouth shut because I knew that would just get me in trouble trying to argue with him and everything. So, yeah, who made the law that it's illegal to sleep in your car? A car is your private property, and you're parking it in public. so that really shouldn't be an issue. I understand they probably made that law because certain people were being dirty and disgusting and maybe leaving garbage everywhere or creating health hazards with bodily waste or something. Or maybe they're worried about drunk people sleeping in their car and having the keys right there in the ignition, and maybe they could drive somewhere while they're drunk, you know. I mean, maybe these are the things they're concerned about when they make the law that it's illegal to sleep in your car. But unfortunately, it really punishes people who are just having hard times, and financially they don't have another choice. Anyway, my rant is over. I have to go to work in like 2 minutes. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day.